Have you been working on building relationships so you can advance in your career, thinking that gaining relationships is the key to success whenever it comes to advancement? Well, if you have, then today's video is for you. I'm going to actually teach you how you can leverage those relationships that you've been building to be able to advance in your career. For those of you that haven't met me, my name is Mary Jervich. I'm the #1 best-selling author, the creator of My Promotion Plan, a course that helps women go from passed over to promoted with ease in record time. I'm also a career planning strategist, which means I want to help women be able to really harness their skills, their abilities, their ideas, and use those to earn the promotions and raises that they want. And I teach women how to do that in the shortest time frame. If you are feeling stuck in your career, uncertain of what to do next, then I want to invite you to schedule an accelerated career clarity call. I'll put the description in the link below. But today, what we want to talk about is how you can leverage those relationships. The first thing to understand whenever it comes to leveraging relationships is having relationships is not enough. I'm going to say that again. Having relationships is not enough. When I was young in my career, I just thought I just needed to build rapport with people. I just needed to be able to have some small talk with people. I needed to be able to get along with people. And as long as I had some general relationships, that would kind of help me along my journey. But here's what I saw my years and years. I've been in the workforce for a couple of decades now, and here's what I've seen. People with great relationships are not always chosen for advancement. They're not always the ones that move up. And so if you've ever had relationship envy because you've seen other people and you're like, man, they can just talk to everybody. They have that natural gift. Well, that gift alone isn't what actually advance our careers. Now, of course, having relationships is good. So we do want to build relationships. We do want to have rapport. We do want to be easy to talk to, and we want to have those abilities. But at the same time, we have to understand that as we are building relationships, as we are sharing things, we are kind of giving information away. And this can be good and bad. And so while it's never bad to have somebody in your organization that cares about you and, really knows the things that you like, the things that you desire, and knows you authentically, that's not necessarily a bad thing, but it's not also a good thing. And the reason is because not everybody is created equal. If you have ever listened or watched any of Brene Brown's work, she talks a lot about courage, but she also talks a lot about shame. And here's the thing. Sometimes when we are so open with people in relationships, they actually use the things we share with them against us. And you don't really even know this is happening because it's happening behind closed doors. And so the people that you're trusting with information, especially if it's kind of sensitive information about you, you want to be sure that you can really trust them. But there's also times where you just want to kind of separate work and relationships. Now, that's not to say you don't want to have relationships or get along, but it is okay to keep work more focused on work. I have seen plenty of people advance that can work with other team members that do share a personal side of them, but they're not so vulnerable that they're sharing all of their flaws and all of their faults. Because here's the thing, you are creating a frame around yourself. I talk a lot about framing because we get to decide how other people see us and what information we give them. So one of the downfalls we have with building really deep relationships is we usually feel pretty safe. And when we feel really safe in a relationship, we start to share or could share really intimate details. And that could just backfire on you because you could potentially be sharing something that could be used against you. Now, that's not the most common thing, but I did want to bring that up. Another thing that can happen with relationships is that we actually get a false sense of security when we're building them. We think because we have a great relationship with somebody, maybe our boss will pick us for the next advancement. Or sometimes we think that, oh, if we have this great relationship, then, they're going to select us for the next project. Or we're going to have an inside track. Or maybe we'll think, hey, they will never let us go because we have this relationship. But the truth is that a relationship alone is not enough to keep you secure, whether it's in your current position or even moving up the ladder. Now, that's not going to say that, like I said, having a relationship doesn't hurt you, but at the same time, it's not the thing that's just going to take you to that very next level. Now, when we're looking at relationships, we need to understand that people all view relationships differently. My son is really good at sports. And, this is a little bit perhaps to the detriment of his team. There was a recent league he was playing in, and, it was decided that my husband would not be coaching the offense of that team because our son was perceived to be so good. And the head coach thought that if he did this, if my husband was the coach, that it would be looking like we would be showing favoritism to our son, who happened to just be the best player in some of the positions. Now, he wasn't the best player in every position. We need all of the positions to run the team. But here's the thing. A person, and I bring this up because this person, we'll just call them the boss of this team, made a decision because of a relationship that they would not get a position. And so we have to understand that the same thing can happen in our careers. Whenever we have relationships that are so tight to others and they're so evident to others, that can actually damage our opportunities sometimes. And so the key is to not just focus on being friendly, right? But to actually leverage our relationship. So how do you leverage your relationship and not have your relationship kind of be the downfall of your career? Because I've seen that happen time and time again, where it's like all these great relationships, the person still gets let go. Well, here's the thing. Whenever you create a relationship, you have to understand you're not doing it to manipulate the person, but in business, relationships are meant to be created. And part of that relationship creation and building is really helping one another. So if you are creating a relationship with somebody that's higher than you in the organization, it may be reasonable for them to come to you and ask you to help with a project, ask you to help with something that needs to be done on the team. In the same regard, it is your responsibility to go to them and ask for what you need. They're asking you, now you need to go to them and ask what you need. And in your case, perhaps you need to be introduced to somebody else. Perhaps you need trained on a specific skill. Perhaps you need to understand, some mentorship from them. What did it take them to get to that level? How can you get there too? But the key is not just to create friendships that are based off of common interest and similar personalities, but it's really to figure out, what is this person connected to that I need to be connected to? What do they have, resources of that I could get to have resources of? And then it's asking for those things and advocating for those things for yourself. So it could be following along on a project that they're doing. Maybe you're not ready to be on the project, but maybe you could get briefed on it. Or maybe you could go to, one of the training days that they have. Maybe that other department does a lot with speaking and you're not in that department, but you want to be, and they've got this special speaker training. Could you ask to go to the speaker training? But it's when you have these relationships that you're actually using it to your advantage in your career. And that is not manipulation. A lot of times, and we're always like, especially as women, we just have these thoughts and these fears that like, oh, am I manipulating? Oh, am I? No, you're not. At the end of the day, you want to do a great job for the company. You want the company to succeed. The company succeeds if you learn and grow. The company succeeds when the person that's going to be advancing is well-trained and resourced. And in the same way that you will leverage your relationships, one thing you can do to kind of pay back is to teach people under you how they can leverage a relationship with you. So be sure to not just create those relationships, but think about ways that you can work together, both to serve that person that you've created the relationship with, and ways that they can help you get what you want. And sometimes it's just having a meeting. I know I would often meet with my boss well before I was in the executive ranks. If I could get 30 minutes of time with him, even every other week, I wanted that time. Could I ask him questions? Could I seek feedback? Could I talk about ideas with him? And when I keep these times work focused and so much of it on the work instead of just the home life, then they also get an opportunity to see the creative ideas we have. They get to see the potential value we have, and they get to see our desire and love for what we're doing. So just be sure to go a lot deeper than, hey, how was the football game last weekend? Or how's your son doing in baseball? Take it onto a deeper level, but one where you're leveraging it and not just becoming vulnerable, where they can hold things over your head. All right, I hope you enjoyed this video today. Be sure to share it with a friend. As I said, I'm on a mission to help 1 million women earn promotions and raises. So I would be so grateful if you would share the video, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment so people can find it. And I will see you in our next accelerated career tip video.